Friends, now it is time to welcome two very established industry leaders from the OTT space for a fireside chat on the topic Make the Right Pitch, the Secret Sauce. In conversation with Deepak Sehgal, Head of Content, Applause Entertainment, joined by Nikhil Madhav, EVP and Head of Hotstar Specials. Over to you, Deepak sir.
Hi, Nikhil.
Hi, Deepak.
So 5 years ago, 5 to 7 years ago, we had nothing, and now suddenly we are churning out content by episode after episode.
Right.
Of course, India has this tendency to leapfrog into the middle of everything and create a viable user base. How do you think this digital space is evolving now, and in which direction will it head? Will there be kind of splitting of viewership into different maybe languages, genres, demographics? So can you give us some insight into that?
Yeah, sure. And firstly, thank you for having me here for this chat. I think in the last couple of years, 2-3 interesting trends that have emerged. First and foremost, the big one is that many more people today in the country are willing to pay for content. A couple of years ago, there was this big concern to say that India is going to be largely an AVOD market, and people are still not ready to pay for content. I think that has shifted, and that's very good for the overall ecosystem because it gives opportunity for people, for creators, for platforms to have a one-on-one relationship with consumers and then create content that sort of best serves them. And we have the financial ability to do that. So that, I think, is a big change that's happened. Linked to the first one is that as more and more people have come onto the premium SVOD side of the platforms, they've been exposed to a plethora of content, not only local, but also international. And what that means is that their desire for great quality content has increased substantially, right? Their expectations of what is good quality, what they want to see, the kind of stories that they want to listen or hear or watch has gone up substantially. And I'll come back to this later, but I think there as an industry, we need to do much better as creators and platforms to service that demand for a variety of content. I don't think we've done a good enough job. The third piece is that the growth in what is vernacular content in your own language. So India needs to, or Indian content creators need to think completely beyond just Hindi, and the opportunities that are arising in terms of content consumption in individual states in a language of their preference. That's a massive trend. And the growth in vernacular content or in their language of preference, that market is growing very, very rapidly. I think the larger question that you were also asking in terms of how people are sort of consuming choices, I think there is a sort of mass of niches, especially as far as Hotstar is concerned. Given the size of the platform, our cohorts, there are multiple cohorts of people, but those cohort sizes are fairly large, and those cohorts sort of challenge the traditional definition of how you think of consumers. So a lot of times people will think this is a male focused content, or this is a female focused content, or this is for youngsters, or this is for older people. I think those are definitely getting shattered, because today you will have a 55-year-old lady in Indore watching Special Ops, and you may have an 18-year-old boy in Mumbai watching Out of Love. Whereas in your traditional definition, you may think that one is a much more male focused show, the other is a more female focused show. Those definitions are changing, and it's really interesting, insightful, and encouraging for us as creators and as platforms to see that data and be able to respond to it, because when you look at it, it suddenly opens up different perspective in your mind that, hey, this is something that this person is consuming and with so much intent, and I hadn't imagined that. So I think those are some of the broader trends, and of course the space is changing so rapidly. If we have this conversation 6 months down the line or 12 months down the line, I may be talking about some other trends, but certainly this is what we're seeing right now.
So, we made Applause made Criminal Justice for you in
Yes.
2 seasons. The first season was okay. It's about a male protagonist in jail. The second season was slightly more off the main tracks. I mean, it was about some serious problems that can happen in a marriage. So, when you come across content like that, which is edge of the main line, how do you all, I mean, how does Hotstar pick its concepts and ideas? Do you all do a few challenging ones? Do you all stick to one main line that no, let's do something more which everybody understands, and we're not challenging them? So what is your secret recipe for that?
So I think first I must start by thanking Applause for Criminal Justice. It's a big show for us. The first season was really what got us going. It did extremely well, and lo and behold, the second season actually did even better. One would again traditionally think the first season with Vikrant Massey, Jackie Shroff, male jail is something that would appeal more, whereas this is a slightly different story, but nothing like that. It's equally, in fact, a bigger hit, and attracted the same wide variety of viewers. Potentially, yes, of course, the second season had more contribution from female viewers than the first one, but overall, it was very well received. I think when we look at what kind of concepts that we should greenlight, there are 2-3 things, and these requirements, my sense is, differs from platform to platform. Right? Everybody has their own secret sauce or their own strategy. As far as Hotstar is concerned, because we are the country's largest OTT and by a huge margin, the numbers of the people that we have on the platform is so huge that whatever content you put out, unless it moves the needle, it doesn't feel like we've done something substantial. It's so big, and our cohorts are so big, so we need to move large cohorts of people to start watching content. And that doesn't mean that you create content which is not challenging. In fact, they love to be given something which is unique, which is bold, which is not available anywhere else. I think some of the shows that we did with Applause 2 years ago were very different at that point in time, and they started off really well. Special Ops as a spy thriller, something of that size and scale and that kind of screenplay had not been seen on OTT before, and that got received very well. Out of Love was an infidelity story, but unlike other infidelity stories where people are largely the traditional viewers to say the woman should somehow accept it or try and change the husband and bring him back, this took a very different stance, a very challenging stance, to say you don't have to take it lying down, and if you're not, if your spouse is cheating on you, and you can do something about it. We did a very fun, quirky comedy show called OK Computer, which some people really liked, some people didn't, but it found a great traction in youngsters who enjoyed that kind of quirky humor. Nothing like that has been sort of tried before. And then, of course, Arya is a story of a woman, a female who eventually becomes a Dawn. So if you see, all these stories have something very different, challenging in them, but yet the themes are such that they're fairly accessible, so broad numbers of people can watch it, and that is important to us. And I would say the place that we do try and stay away from is that we don't try and put too much sort of titillation and violence for the sake of it. It may be low-hanging fruit, but that's not what Disney Plus Hotstar is as a brand. So that's a lane that you will find most of our content actually staying away from. But other than that, bold stories told well. And the second thing, Deepak, and you know this really well because you do the same, is that the passion and vision of the showrunner is extremely important. The clearer the showmaker is about the story that he wants to make, the vision behind the story, and how passionate he is about the story, is there a burning desire to tell the story, that makes a huge difference, because that passion and vision can take what seems like an average story or an average logline and make it into something substantial. On the other hand, you can have a really unique logline, but if the maker is not clear, we can struggle.
So as this, how do you see this space evolving? I mean, say if you take sports, currently the presentation of sports is pretty much like what you see on TV, right? So the digital environment does give you many more ways of presenting, interacting. I know in fiction it's difficult because, as you said, there's a showrunner whose mind has written that. But in something like sports going on in front of you, is it going to evolve into something much that people can touch and feel the thing on a OTT platform?
Yeah, I think first there are a couple of initiatives that have already happened on the sports side. So there is Hotstar's famous watch and play game where you can predict what's going to happen in the next ball, whether it's going to be a 4 or 6 or someone's going to get out. So that provides people an opportunity to predict. There's and win prizes. There's opportunity to share emojis each time there is a key moment that happens in the match. Another thing that we did this year with IPL was the fan commentary, where we took people who are not traditional cricket commentators and actually got them to host commentary in a way which is much more fun. So there was a special feed on Hotstar for that kind of commentary. In the past, we've also experimented with the 360-degree feeds where you can watch the match on your mobile phone and then turn around your phone and be able to get pretty much a 360-degree view of what's the action that's happening in the stadium. So every year with every passing tournament, we're trying to upgrade, and you're absolutely right. We want to make sure that the experience that people have while watching sport on Hotstar is highly augmented and differentiated from what they watch on television, and it should not just be about convenience, but also the overall product experience.
So as a maker of content, if I'm pitching to Hotstar, I mean, what do I have to keep in mind while pitching? And do you all always require a track record, or newcomers are welcome with their new concepts and thoughts and ideas?
Yeah,
at what level of cooking should the recipe be when it hits you? Can it just be a one-line idea, or you all have a certain format that you all accept in?
No, I think thank you for asking this question, because I on an individual basis I get this asked quite often, but this is a good forum for us to be able to communicate to the larger creative community. I think the first thing that we look for is, as I said, how unique the story is, and is it sort of that way differentiated from what we have on our pipeline already, and is it a story that can move a certain cohort of people? Why will it do that? And answering that why is quite important. But that is not relevant from a creator's point of view. That's an internal assessment that Hotstar is doing. As far as creators and makers are concerned, they should think of stories which they want to tell, irrespective of what a particular OTT's content strategy should be, right? That's when great content comes out. Not necessarily in response to briefs, but response to your own creative gut. The second piece which I referred to was clarity of thought. Is your pitch clear? Is your vision clear? And does your passion come through? And one of the important aspects of that, Deepak, I feel, is when people come to us and say, this is the one story that I'm really kicked about, that I'm really passionately, burningly want to tell. It is way more exciting versus if someone comes to us and says that, hey, here are 5 ideas. And out of these 5 ideas, whichever the one that you like the best, I'll make a show on that. Then it starts becoming a very, sort of commercial transaction rather than a creative transaction. It makes you question whether, somebody is really passionate about a story or is just here to make a show. And those two things are very, very different. So if you have a Bible which includes a broad story, includes the world, the key characters, episodic beat sheets, maybe even a sample first episode, I think more detail that you can provide, it's much better for us to also be able to evaluate this. What is not that great is, I've come to you with a log line, and now for me to think beyond this log line, please fund me or pay me money. Then again, it it just feels like, it just didn't feel true, that this is not a story that you've worked on for 6 months. It's something that you want to tell, you already written out. The third thing that I wanted to say to the group who's watching is that a platform like Hotstar will receive anything between 70 to 80 pitches in a month. And, we're looking to do about anything between 2 to 4 shows in a month. So you can imagine that out of 80 shows, if you're, picking up maybe 6, assuming 1 or 2 may not go through development, almost 90-95% of the shows or pitches we're saying no to, right? And that obviously upsets a lot of creative people. It irritates them that I've come and my show has not gone through. But that is not a reflection on the quality of your show, right? There are many reasons why it may not be right for a particular OTT, including they may have a similar show in making. It may feel commercially too expensive to do. It may not be right for their brand strategy, and multiple reasons. You should not take that rejection as my story is not great. Maybe it's not right for this particular platform. But fortunately today there are multiple platforms creating content, and maybe the story is right for another platform, or maybe the story will become relevant for this platform a couple of years later. So I just want to make sure people don't feel disheartened just because the number of ideas coming in versus the number of ideas we actually land up picking. There is such a big gap. At any point in time, as I said, we're going to land up disappointing 95% of the people who come to us. But hopefully the balanced 10 who do create content with us will have a extremely rewarding experience, because when you put your content on a platform like Hotstar, it reaches people across the country, across the globe in a reach or a scale which is unmatched by anybody else.
One more thing I want to know is that, given that all the players in our OTT space are very data driven, does that leave any space for innovation, or does data crunching actually lead to innovation?
Right.
Does it point you in directions we haven't seen before, or it just says, okay, this is what people are watching and let's keep making?
Right. No, I'm going to answer that in 2 ways, including a part of the question that I didn't answer, your previous question. Are we looking for people only with a track record? That's not necessary. I think first thing I must say is that people who have a track record, you can't hold the track record against them, right? If someone has made great pieces of content, he's earned their right to, have a conversation with us. So that's not something you should hold against people who've done well. But at the same time, people who are new, who have burning stories to tell, the door is completely open. And I'm saying this with facts. So one of our big hits from last year, which did really well, was a show called Grahan, that was produced by, show run by and created by Shailendra Jha, for whom this was, pretty much the first show that they ever did. OK Computer was created by Neil and Pooja, who originally, come from an architectural background, but over a period of time moved into this space. And that's a show that we commissioned without looking at track record, because the idea was so, so unique and exciting. Rat Films, who created 100 for us. So there are many other names in terms of shows that have launched or in the pipeline. So I think that is, the doors are open to everybody. As far as data is concerned, yes, data is extremely important in helping us make choices, and it helps us in make choices in 2 fronts. It gives us a sense of the size of a cohort, and the bigger the size of a cohort, you would, the chances of that being received well are higher. It also helps us making some sort of commercial decisions on, how much to value a particular show on. So it is very useful. And because Hotstar gets data from such a wide variety of content, from sports, from specials, from Bollywood movies, from TV shows, regional content, HBO, Marvel, Disney, it's really, very rich piece of information that we have to choose from. But you're right, data can tell you where the opportunity is, but eventually to make a creative decision, it's really the gut of the creator outside. Any breakthrough idea comes from, the gut of the creator, and, how well they gel with us in terms of their pitch, and I keep referring to OK Computer as a show because it was a bold risk. Nothing in your data will say do a futuristic sci-fi comedy show set 10 years into the future about a AI and a robo which is accused of murder. So that's where you take a creative leap. But for which cohort we are designing that show for, the data helps us be very clear about that.
So, given that the competition is only increasing now with newer and newer players moving in, to stay competitive in this landscape is a challenge. And it will obviously rest on the content you throw out. So, do you all assess your competitor? Is there a way of assessing your competitor and saying that the data there is doing this or not? It just stops with you, and then you'll have to guess what data they are crunching. So to stay competitive, what are the methods that can be used by platforms?
Sure. I think the first thing I would say is that this is a world where it's extremely important to be very consumer focused, because you have the opportunity to have that one-on-one equation with your consumer. And if you focus all your energies on serving them well, the chances are that you will win regardless of what competition is doing. I think the second piece is because we are so large in scale, much bigger than any of our competitors, both on the SVOD and AVOD side, we are in a lot of times find ourselves in uncharted territory, because no one's been able to build the kind of subscriber base in the last 3 years that Hotstar has, or the overall viewership base. So for us, we get very limited information from what competition is doing, because they're still operating at a much smaller scale. We're actually operating at a much bigger scale, and as a result, being consumer focused tends to be where we find our more next growth opportunities, and sort of what to do. And yes, we do a lot of we get a lot of information from viewership and consumption on our old platform, but we do read what's happening on the internet, and we do pull in data from various sources, both directly, indirectly, consumer research, that all feeds into the decision-making process. And that's really what sort of helps us stay competitive. And of course, Deepak, choosing the right creative partners is a great way of staying competitive. And I think the partnership that we've had with Applause and Hotstar has helped us stay competitive, because you guys have done some fantastic work for us.
And we will continue to do for you.
Absolutely.
Now, this regional space has always shown a lot of promise, but nobody seems to have actually broken the piggy bank on that one. People are, I think, either they're putting in one coin at a time too slowly, or so what's happening is that, and a lot of the stories that we end up making in the national language actually emerge from these markets, these language groups. So is it that it's a fragmented viewership, so it's not worth investing so much money in that? Or because you do dub universal language product into the regional language. So one is, do those people in those regions watch in their language preferably, or do they watch the Hindi and then watch that? It is just something, it'd be a nice thing to know.
Sure. I think we haven't done a great job of making content for local languages. And I think there have been two reasons. One, a lot of times platforms running out of Mumbai have defined their regional strategy as, I have made 2 shows in Marathi, 1 in Bengali, 2 in Tamil, 3 in Malayalam, and that's my regional strategy. Which is like saying, I have had 12 regional shows in the year. But for a consumer sitting in Tamil Nadu or Karnataka or Kerala or Bengal, by launching 2 shows in the year, he's not going to feel that this is a brand which is talking to him, right? You're not doing them service. They want to be serviced in the same way as somebody sitting in Delhi and Mumbai, for which you're creating this whole plethora of Hindi content. So I think you have to define your strategy as, if I'm going into in Tamil Nadu, then I need to create Tamil language content in a very substantial volume that appeals to those people. And we have been a little deliberate in that. And, you will see over the next 6 months that our strategy is, once we enter the market, we're going to be continuously serving those consumers. In the last 2-3 months, we've got fairly aggressive in Tamil content and Telugu content, and those drops are happening almost every 15 days. So that's the frequency with which we are launching new content. And this, of course, rides over and above all the content that we have from Star Vijay and Star Ma, as well as the dubbed languages in cricket commentary, etc. So we want to make it feel that way. And I think the second challenge is that you need to have organizational heft behind. So have people, boots on the street who understand that local culture, that market much better than someone sitting over here can. And they have the relationships in the market, they have the consumer insight. Unless you put those people and empower them to take those decisions locally, you will never be able to do justice. So I think those are the two places where potentially the OTT industry has not done a great enough job. And I think there's an opportunity to change that. And we certainly are changing that.
You all have this big investment in sports which occupies reams of time and in viewing time. Does that audience convert to your, say, series programming or your other programming? Is it a conversion that is, a trickle, or is it like, oh God, I saw that promo, I must see that show? That data you must be having of people converting afterwards.
I think the short answer is absolutely. A lot of those people who come to watch cricket eventually land up watching some other piece of content, and that's their choice in terms of whether they pick a series or a movie or English content or television content, whatever. But it is also something that we work very actively towards. So it's not just that you bring them onto the platform cricket and automatically this will happen. We work hard to communicate to them, to cater our product in a way that it serves them the right kind of content choices that we feel that they may be interested in. So yes, a lot of them do watch entertainment after coming for cricket, but it's a continuous effort to keep, making that funnel grow. Also because our funnel for people who are coming and watching cricket on Hotstar has also been rapidly increasing every year. So every year there are more people who are coming in, and we serve them different kinds of communication to make sure that they're watching entertainment as well. And vice versa, there are also a lot of people who come in, maybe on the back of a piece of entertainment content, they become subscribers of Hotstar. But next time round, when there is a cricket tournament, they will land up sampling cricket on Hotstar. So it's a pretty virtuous cycle that way.
And finally, what do you think are the challenges that are facing this sector, or any current ailments that you think that need to be corrected for this sector to really explode?
I would say three, Deepak. First is, and I think ailment, in the first case, the ailment is a strong word to use, but I do think we need many more writers, because great content starts from a great script. We must have more writers. We must celebrate our writers in a bigger fashion. We must remunerate our writers in a bigger fashion. So I think writing is extremely important. And we've improved in the last 2-3 years, but I do acknowledge the fact that, unlike movies or television, where we've had long histories running into decades of, practicing good writing, I think series writing or creating for OTT is very, very new. So even our ecosystem of writers is learning that, but there is a long way to go. I think we're still scraping the surface. Second one we just alluded to, I think we need to do a much better job of serving content to our consumers in local languages. And we must do that in a much more sort of meaningful way. So that's, those are a couple of immediate things. And the third one really would be from a variety of content. I think we've not just served enough variety of genres. It seems to be still very crime and dark focused. I think there are many more moods of a consumer which we must tackle, and genres, formats, long form, short form, because their needs in a day are different. Their mental mind space is different. So it's not that they only want to watch on a Friday evening a crime thriller trying to figure out, who killed whom. And I think just in those choices, we need to get much broader to serve our consumers better as an industry.
So thank you so much, Nikhil. Very informative. And we look forward to continuing our partnership successfully for many, many years.
Thank you for doing this, Deepak.
Thank you very much, Deepak ji and Nikhil ji, for that wonderful and insightful fireside chat. Friends, it's